Hey guys, how's it going? Gazza9919 here today, and we are looking at 9 things that can improve your drone flying experience. So,
Let's get
the
on with it.
first thing I want to talk about is yaw rate. If you do know, some of you might not, but if you're new to drones and stuff, you might not know what this is. And what it basically is when the drone is levitated, it will go round like that. And some do it really slow, and some do it really fast and rotate. But this can be quite disorientating at times because you'll lose where the front or back of your drone is. The next thing I want to talk about is altitude hold, and this is pretty much self-explanatory. And this is basically where the drone is suspended in midair, and you press a button, altitude hold, and it will keep it at that said altitude. And it won't like drop or rise, not especially if you've got a good drone with a decent technology on it. The next thing is sensitivity settings. Again, if you're new to getting a drone or anything, then you might not be sure on what the buttons do. In this case, it's a button on my top left of my controller. It's simply got 2 settings of a low and high. Some drones and quadcopters actually have 3 settings of sensitivity, but obviously if you're new to it, you want to start off on the slowest one and slowly work your way up. The next thing is something people don't really take into consideration that much as far as drones go, and this is cleaning. And basically, what you want to do ideally is it's not too much effort, but you want to remove these rotors, these propeller blades, every now and then, and just clean out stuff that gets caught around there. All you'll need for that is something like a glasses repair, like screwdriver or something like that, just so you can get in there. You just simply hold the propeller still and unscrew it, and then it simply comes off. And then what happens is around here, there's I don't know if I can get it to focus there. There's basically a load of like hair sometimes that gets stuck around there, and wool and things like that, and especially around the motor. And what this is doing is it's putting pressure on the motor, so therefore making it more likely for your motor to burn out because it's having to put more effort into making the actual propeller move. And also make sure to remove these and clean them out one at a time because you don't want to get the propellers messed up, otherwise your drone or quadcopter will not work correctly. One thing that is worth taking into consideration once you get the hang of your drone or quadcopter is taking the prop guards off. And this is simple, it's just 1 screw in this case. You may have more screws, but it just comes out when you've got the screws off. And yeah, that's it just sort of like improves your flying like experience, because you know that I don't know, I guess the stakes are higher, and if you do crash then you could damage your drone. So if you want to be a bit risky, a bit of an Evel Knievel, then go for it and do that, guys. This next thing is a bit of a risky move really, and as you'll notice I've put the battery here, and that's because in particular drone I've took the gate off the bottom, and what it came with was a 500 milliamp hour battery, and what I've put in it is an 850 milliamp hour battery. And obviously I've took the case off because it won't fit with the casing on, but it does work. The only issue is the performance is a bit sluggish, like mainly because the battery is a little more weight. So yeah. Another thing you want to think about is pitch, because although drones do have gyro settings, sometimes they can still tend to wander off this way even though you've set the gyros, not as viciously as that, but maybe a slight sort of that sort of movement. And what you can do to correct this is just simple like adjustments here. And as you'll see on my right hand side, you'll see a bar that begins to move, and that is my pitch. There, if you see that line going across the bottom, and then that long beat means I've got it back into original position. So if you ever think, oh actually I might have messed it up, you can put it back into position like that on this certain drone anyway. I know all of them are different, so yeah, that's something to think about. But ideally you don't want to be touching pitch and stuff like that if you're going to be doing flips, because for some unknown reason it kicks it all out of proportion as soon as you do a flip. This brings us on to our next subject: how to actually flip a drone. I mean, like, you saw it, you know, it does look pretty easy to do, but there are many techniques, like a certain technique that you need to follow in order to do it correctly. and that is you can't just say, like, flip at, say, this altitude from this certain surface. What you need to do is you need to fully accelerate, get up close to the ceiling, and then you want to flip it, and then when you flip it, it will come back down, and then you need to max throttle it so it don't hit the ground. Some can flip really well, but it's usually the best thing to do when flipping a drone. You want a decent bit of altitude. Don't do it at low altitudes, otherwise it probably won't end well for you. Let's talk about return to home function. This in particular one does not have it. But return to home is basically on the higher quality drones and quadcopters. And what this basically is if you're flying at high altitudes and you suddenly lose track of your drone, then you press this return to home and it will gather your current location via GPS and return back where you are. And it should be a safe landing, hopefully, depending on where you are. If you're in the middle of the woods, then it could be a bit of a sketchy landing, but why would you want to fly a drone in the middle of the woods anyway? Now, last but not least, onto headless mode. Now, this is a function I rather enjoy. Again, this particular drone doesn't have it. I have got a quadcopter with it. It's only a small one, and it's pretty crazy, but it knocks itself out of sync very quickly because it's only a cheap quadcopter. What headless mode is basically a function that allows your drone to be in any position, so it could be here, 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 you know, it could be any position, and that way is still forward. So no matter what position it's in, you know, if I go like that on the stick, the drone will still move forward. Like, it could be there, you get the idea. So yeah, that's a pretty handy function, but the only issue with that is when you come out of headless mode, you want to make sure that the drone is straight, otherwise it's gonna catch you off guard and probably end up going somewhere where you don't want it to. Well then guys, so that was 9 things to improve your drone flying experience. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. And if you enjoy my content, don't forget to click on that bell icon. Until the next time, guys, peace.